Hi, I'm Alicia and welcome to my channel Papercraft Secrets. Today we are making a set of 8 cards using the beautiful Mintay Paper's Joy of Life collection. This is available as a kit, available on my website at www.papercraftsecrets.com.au. The sentiments for this set of cards can be changed. Inside the kit, you'll get a variety of sentiments that you can pick and choose and add to cards that will suit you the most. I will take you step by step through the process of how to create these cards, and at the end of this tutorial you will have a set of 8 beautiful Mintay shabby chic cards. First of all though, let's have a look at what's in your kit. When you receive your kit, these are the things that you will have to play with and to create your cards with. First up, we have the beautiful Prima Flowers in lovely soft pinks, greens, and sort of cream colours. You've got your pretty pink ribbon and your white twine in your kit. You've also got some doilies to add to your cards, and you've got enough white cheesecloth to cut up and add to your cards as well. Inside the kit is the 6x6 Mintay Joy of Life scrapbooking paper pad. Let's have a look here. You've got some cardstock. We've got white, green, yellow and pink. I'll show you that a bit closer. Let me just put these little bits to the side. At the top here, you've got some butterfly cut apart sheets that you can cut out, and we use those butterflies on our card. And then you've got your sentiments that we use on the card as well. So that's 3 printable sheets that come printed out and are in your kit on the high quality cardstock. This is the number 6 page for Joy of Life collection, and we use the frame side of this paper. And then we have our 4 pieces of 12x12 cardstock, pink, yellow, green and white. And this is Kaiser cardstock, Kaiser Craft cardstock, so high quality cardstock. And so that shows you everything that is in the kit. You also receive a page of photographs of the cards so that you have that printed out there. It's in color, and then you can follow along with this video tutorial to create your beautiful shabby chic Mintay cards. So now let's get started and actually create the cards together. So the first step is we are taking 3 pieces of cardstock. Our first one is oatmeal. Take your oatmeal page and cut it at 4 inches. Then again at 4 inches. And again at 4 inches, making sure that your barcode strip is the part that we cut off. It actually makes more sense to cut the barcode strip off first, so cut that at 12 inches, then cut at 4 inches and 4 inches. That way you won't get your barcode strip showing up in places that you don't want it to show up in. So cut your barcode strip off first, and then cut at 4 inches and 4 inches. And that provides the base card for our set of cards today. If you have a scoring board, you can place your card onto your scoring board and you can score at the 6-inch mark to create a fold for your card. If you don't have a scoring board, you can just fold your card in half. So just repeat that for all cards. This has made 9 cards. For the purpose of this class, we're only going to be making 8. So you can choose whether you want 3 pink, 3 green, and 2 yellow, or a different combination. We're going to be using the Mintay Paper's Joy of Life 6x6 paper pad. I want you to go through and choose some papers from the paper pad. You're going to need 8 papers all together. And these will be for our background papers. So these are the 8 pages that I've chosen for the background papers of my cards. Take each one of your 6x6 papers and cut them at 5 3/4 of an inch. So we're just trimming off the bottom edge of each of those pages, and we're trimming each one at 5 3/4 of an inch. Our next step is to cut our paper at 2 inches. This will form one strip on our card, and we'll cut our second strip at 2.5 inches. We will have a scrap left over and we'll keep that for later. So let's do that again. Take our next piece of paper, cut at 2 inches, cut at 2.5 inches. That's for our next card. All right, and again, 2 inches, 2.5 inches. Continue with this process until you have cut all of your 8 papers. Lay your cards out on your table, and it's time to choose which papers that you would like to put together. There's no right or wrong way on choosing which papers you'd like to use. This is a fun part of the process, and you can make your own decisions about how you pair up the different types of papers. Everything matches, so you can feel confident that your choice is going to be the right choice. There are 2 ways that you can glue these strips on. The way I'm doing it right now, putting the 2.5 inch strip down first, makes it so that you have an even split of papers on your card. If you put your 2 inch strip down first, you'll have the join will be more to one side of the card. So it's up to you as to what you prefer. You'll see as I put my 2 inch strip on top, that makes the join halfway. If I had have put my 2.5 inch on top, the join would have been more to one side. So have a play with which piece you glue down first as to what look you prefer. You might like the straight down the middle look, or you might prefer the to one side look. You can do both with these strips. You could do half of your cards with a medium in the middle join, and you could do half with an on the side join. For these cards, I just did all down the middle, but it's your choice. So that's all done now, and they're looking really beautiful. That's the base part of our card finished. So now we're going to start building our card. I would like you to take your 12x12 number 6 paper. This consists of the frame page. So we're going to cut these up, and you will need 8 of these frames, so you can choose which ones that you prefer the best. and we're going to choose one for each of our cards. So you can play around with which one you think looks the prettiest on each of the background pages and which frames you like the most. You'll have a few left over. On your Joy of Life 6x6 paper pad, I want you to tear off the front cover of the paper pad and the back cover of the paper pad. And we're going to fussy cut some images from these pages. So the first thing I like to do is cut around the images roughly first. This makes it easier to trim them out neatly. When you are fussy cutting, you can choose to leave a small white edge, if you would like to, along the edge of the printed image. This can help you when you get to really intricate little skinny parts. So we need to cut out all of these little pictures that we're going to be using. So that's the balloons, the flowers. I haven't done the bird cages or the birds or the record players. You might like to, that's up to you. The next part is to take this page here, which is the balloons page, and we're going to fussy cut some extra balloons from this page. You can choose to cut out all of the balloons if you would like to, or you can just choose to cut out the ones that you need. I'm going to have at least 1 or 2 balloons on each of my cards. So it just depends how many fussy cut images that you would like on each card. On this card I'm thinking a balloon and a floral cluster. On this card a balloon and a floral cluster. On this card 2 balloons. Two balloons on this card. Might change that balloon to over there. There's no right and wrong way with how you position your fussy cut pictures. It's up to you as to what you like. These are the beautiful flowers, the Prima flowers that are in the kit, and there is enough of these flowers to have 1 per card. So there's 8 flowers altogether, and you can choose which color you like on each card, but you might just want to sort of lay them out and have a little look and see how these cards are going to start to come together. So we've got our frame, we've got some fussy cut images, and we've got our flower. Nothing is glued down yet, we're just getting everything ready. There's some beautiful pink ribbon in your kit, and you can either keep it sort of straight or you can sort of crumple it up to make it all crinkly. It's up to you as to what you want to do. If you do want to crumple it up, you just sort of take it in your hands and you just scrunch it and roll it, and then that adds some crinkle to the ribbon. If you want it super crinkly, you need to wet the ribbon before you crumple it up, or crumple it up and then wet it. Just depends on how much crinkle you would like. Once you've done that, you need to cut your ribbon into 40 centimeter pieces. This is a good amount of ribbon to create a bow. Once all your ribbon is cut, take each piece and tie each piece into a bow. Now the bow doesn't have to be perfect. You can have a little play around with it and try to get it as perfect as you can, but you don't need to stress too much because it's going under the flower and it's a vintage style ribbon. So it's okay if one side of the bow is a little bit longer than the other side of the bow. Just get them all tied up for now. Inside your kit, you will also have some twine. You need to cut that into 30 centimeter lengths, and then you need to tie each of those into a bow. I use some recycled cardboard to create dimension with my cards, but you can use double-sided mounting tape if you prefer. I'm going to get some of that cardboard ready to go, and we're going to be adding some doilies to our card as well. This just adds a little bit to the shabby chic feel of the card. Our doily will go on first, then we're going to add our cardboard or our double-sided mounting tape to the back of each of our frames. We are going to glue that doily down onto our card, and then we're going to glue our frame down on top of the doily. So we're layering the elements of our card now. So grab all of your doilies and we'll add them into our cards now so that they're ready to go. So there should be enough for 8 doilies in your kit, and that will be 1 per card. Position your doilies, or you can even glue them on at this point. Glue your doilies onto the base of each of your cards, and then prepare your little frame, so with some cardboard or some double-sided tape, and position that on top. Now you'll notice that my frame and my doily are slightly more to the top of the card. The reason I haven't put it exactly in the middle is because we're going to have our flower and our ribbon cluster at the bottom. If you put your doily directly in the middle of your card will appear bottom heavy. So you need to leave space for the cluster at the bottom. So you can see how I put my doily almost at the very top, and then I put my frame in the center of the doily. This allows space at the bottom of the card for our ribbon and floral cluster. So just continue to do that now for all of your cards. So inside your kit you have this page of sentiments. These are generic sentiments that have a variety of greetings printed onto them. So there's some thank you with sympathy, happy birthday, get well soon, best wishes. This allows you to be able to choose the sentiments that suit your cards the best, depending on what type of cards you send out the most. So you can go through and fussy cut 8 sentiments that you would like to use on your cards. Once all your sentiments are cut out, our next job is to use some recycled cardboard or some mounting tape to put on the back of all of our little fussy cut images and to place them onto our frame. I like to overlap my images. I don't like to have one image completely on its own and separate from the other image. I like to have them grouped together. Also in your kit there is some cheesecloth. This is really useful for creating the shabby chic look. So you might like to cut a little bit out for each card. Now you really don't need a lot of cheesecloth because it looks better if it's just a little bit. So paste on your first fussy cut image, then add your cheesecloth, and then add your second fussy cut image. So that will sort of glue the cheesecloth down for you. I'm going to put a little bit of cardboard on this one, and then I'm going to glue that down, and that will hold my cheesecloth down. So that's looking really pretty. Next step, I'm going to glue on my ribbon and my twine and my flower. So I'm gluing that down on the bottom left-hand corner of the frame. And then with my sentiment, you can choose where you want to place your sentiment. I'm going to add a little bit of dimension to mine. And then I will glue it onto my balloon there. And that is what our card looks like. It's very, very pretty. Soft colours, flowers, a cute little balloon, and our sentiment on top. Now remember, it doesn't have to be a sympathy card. It can be a happy birthday card or whatever you choose. You can trim off your little ends on any bows if you need to. And then we're ready to move on to our next card. Moving on to our next card now, we will follow the same process as we did before. Except this time I'm starting with the ribbon and the floral cluster, which is fine. You can start with that if you prefer. So gluing all that down into the bottom left-hand corner of the frame. Then we have our two balloons on this card here. We're going to add some dimension. Pop one on this side and one on the other side with our cheesecloth in between. Don't forget your cheesecloth. That's going to layer in between both of the fussy cut images, so it softens the paper and it adds a contrast. Depending on your glue, sometimes you need a different glue to get the cheesecloth nice and stuck down. So I sort of tend to go with the more liquidy, stretchy glue for that. So that's that card done now, and that's looking really pretty. That's just two balloons and a sentiment. Moving on to our next card now. Same process. Dimension on the back of the balloon, glue it on. Cheesecloth in the middle. Dimension on the front of the balloon and glue it on. gluing on the ribbon and the flower, and then finally the sentiment. That's looking really pretty. Next card, again, same process. We've got a floral cluster and a balloon on this side. I'm gluing the floral cluster down first, then the cheesecloth, and then my balloon on top. And I'm adding my ribbons to the bottom left-hand corner and my flower. I trim off any of the little excess bits of ribbon and I add my sentiment. Moving on to our next card now. This is a really pretty one. It's got the floral cluster, which I love that beautiful floral cluster. The cheesecake cloth layer, Lily said cheesecake, and then the balloon. And our flowers, and last of all, our sentiment. This one has a balloon that's cut in half. You can use the cut in half balloons as long as you put them on the edge of something so that it looks like it's meant to be on the edge. So if we sort of line that up with the edge, that looks like it's just meant to be and it's part of the picture. This card we are using our half balloon and then our cheesecloth, then our floral cluster, fussy cut floral cluster. Then we're making our ribbon and our bow down the bottom and our flower, and finally our sentiment on top. 2 balloons on this little card. Now I forget to put my cheesecloth on. I realise in a minute. You watch. Adding on my floral cluster, my sentiment. Oops, I forgot my cheesecloth. That's okay. If that happens, you can just slip it in under your sentiment. That's not a drama. Onto our last card now. A large balloon and a small balloon. Bow and flower down the bottom. A little bit of cheesecloth and a baby balloon. And then our sentiment. There we go. Moving on to our next step now. In your kit, you'll find 2 butterfly printables. One is sort of more yellow and with a touch of brown, and the other is yellow and pink. You can choose which butterflies suit you the best. I ended up cutting 3 butterflies per card, so that is 24 butterflies. You could cut 1 per card or 2 per card or 3 per card, completely up to you. Let's talk about the positioning of the butterflies. I like to position mine on a diagonal angle. So that means that the antenna of the butterfly are pointing to the corner of a card. When I'm using more than 1 butterfly, I like to have them going in different ways. So for these cards, I've got 3. So I've got one facing one corner, the next one facing the other corner, the third one facing back to the same corner. In terms of where they're positioned, I've got one at the top section, one in the middle section, and then one right at the bottom. So I'm fitting 2 on the frame, top and bottom of the frame, and then one usually off the frame. But I mean, there's no hard and fast rules about where you put your butterflies. It's completely up to you. You may want to vary the size of your butterflies as well. So have a small butterfly with a big butterfly, that sort of thing. All right, we're moving on. We're going to take some more pages from our paper pad because we're going to work on the inside of our cards now. The outside front cover is finished, so let's decorate the inside of our cards. So you're going to need another 8 pieces. from your paper pad. We're going to cut at 5 3/4 first, then we will cut at 3 3/4. We are going to cut at 5 3/4, turn your page and then cut at 3 3/4. 5 3/4, turn your page, cut at 3 3/4. Continue until all pages are cut. Now we have the simple job of gluing those pages into the inside of our cards. You'll have a nice little border around the outside of your card, so you're going to position that inside insert piece into the middle of the rectangle on the base of the card. Glue all of those in. We have some scraps left over, so we're going to use up those scraps. This is going to go on the back of the card. If you join these together, you will have a beautiful page for the back of your card. So find your scraps that you've put to the side, and you can choose which ones you like, which suit your card the best, and then just glue them all on. Last of all, take your white 12 by 12 piece. We're going to make inside little writing pieces for the card so that we can write on our cards. You need to cut at 5 inches first. Make a 5-inch strip, then cut at 3 inches. This will be perfect for writing a message onto. So we're cutting at 5 inches and then 3 inches. So do your 5-inch strip and then just cut that 5-inch strip into 3 inches. There's your other 5-inch strip, then 3, 3, 3 and 3, and that will make you enough for each of your 8 cards. Then we just need to glue those into the inside of the card. And that brings us to the end of our tutorial today. We have made a set of 8 cards with the beautiful Mintay Joy of Life products. This kit is available for purchase over at my website at www.papercraftsecrets.com.au. Please make sure you have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely crafty day.